Hi everyone, Josh House of House Guitars here, and we're back in my shop in Goderich, Ontario. And this is part 2 in the Inside the Box videos that I've been working on. And if you watched the first one, at the end of it, you would have saw that I pointed out this upside down L-shaped neck block. And I mentioned I wanted to talk about that in a bit more detail. So in order to understand the importance of this neck block and how it integrates with the rest of my bracing, we just got to talk briefly about guitar design in general. And there's a few challenges that anyone who's building a guitar faces, and one is to build an instrument that's not going to fold up under the constant pressure of the strings. Light gauge strings or medium gauge strings in standard tuning produce 160 to 180 pounds of constant pressure, which is a lot of pull on the top of an instrument like a guitar. And so the first challenge is to build something that's going to withstand that pressure, and along with that is to still have the instrument sound good. And so it's finding that balance between an instrument that's strong enough to last, hopefully longer than I do, and yet will still sound good that whole time. So I've had the chance over the years to study a number of older guitars. I'm thinking 20, 30 or more years old. And when these guitars come across my bench, I often notice that there's warping taking place around the sound hole, along the edges of the fretboard. Often in the bridge area, it's not uncommon to see a little bit of a dip developing between the bridge and the sound hole. And from being able to study that over the years, I've designed my guitars, and my design has evolved to the point where I now focus a lot of strength in the upper bout, sound hole, and bridge area of the guitar, because that's where the primary stress of the string pull is going to be focused. And then I leave the lower bout a lot more open as far as the bracing goes, just so that it's free to vibrate and produce a good sound. Now I'll flip the top over so you can see a little bit of what I'm talking about. This brace here is known as the upper transverse brace, a big beefy brace that you'll find on most steel string guitars, and I use an X brace as well, another standard feature. But a few different things is these patches on either side of the fretboard, and which end up being either side of the neck block to add a lot of strength. I have a full patch that runs the whole way around the sound hole, as well as 2 smaller braces, and then the big X brace supporting the lower part of the sound hole. Now the upside down L-shaped neck block is not new, and it's not original to me. A few factories use this style of neck block, as well as a number of other custom builders. Now I integrate it a little differently with my top bracing than I've seen it done by some other people. For example, I recently had a Martin come across my bench. It was only a few years old, and it featured a similar style neck block to this. The difference was that the Martin had a gap at the end of the neck block between the neck block and the upper transverse brace. So even though it would be stronger than just a small square neck block, you're still getting a bit of a weak point around the end. Now, when I fit my top, I fit the top so that the upper transverse brace butts tight up against the end of the neck block. And what this produces is an extremely strong chain of bracing that runs right from the neck block through all that bracing that I showed you around the sound hole, right into the bridge plate area and on into the lower bout. If you ever get a chance to look at my bracing in detail, you'll notice that all the little braces fit into the larger braces, with the exception of the patches. I don't fit those patches in just in case they ever need to be work needs to be done on them. But the result of this system is an extremely strong, extremely stable instrument, so that in order for the strings to cause the top to warp in any way, it's not just working against the X brace or just an upper transverse brace on itself, but it has to work against everything from the neck block to the tail block and everything that's integrated in between. And the result is a guitar that should last you a lifetime, if not longer. There's many more things I could say about bracing and design, and we'll save those for a future video. Hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you have any questions about bracing or design or my instruments, feel free to leave a comment and I'll do my best to answer your questions. Thanks for watching.